Welcome to another edition of the TSS podcast, brought to you in association with Luke 1977 and Bowden and Dolphin, with your hosts Rob Carless from Bob's Books and the legend that is Shaun Teale. He's here, there, and everywhere, and he's Tealey saying something.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the TSS podcast. We all know what that is abbreviated for now. Of course, it is the Tealey Sayin Something podcast. And it's myself and the excellent, the legend that is Chris Brown, our producer. No, of course I'm joking. I'm talking about the one and only Shaun Teale, and we are blessed for this podcast. Why, you might ask? Because we've actually got him down here. He's come down to us. He's not just a fake northerner on the phone line. He's actually with us in the studio. So, Chris, we are blessed with Mr. Teale this week.
I know, it's great, isn't it?
Well, I don't know about great. It's okay.
It's not as ugly as you told me it was.
So he looks better without his porn moustache, doesn't he? Yeah. Absolutely. Shaun, how you doing?
I'm all right. I'm good.
Good. What you been doing the last couple of weeks since we last did our podcast? We've had a couple of home games.
Yeah. West Ham at home, obviously, Sunday. Not the best performance in the world. Started off like a house on fire.
10 minutes. I thought we were Brazil.
It was more like 20 minutes. We were right at it. And we were sat in the stand saying to each other, we're at it today. And then all of a sudden, it changes. And then we really did struggle after that. And with 20 to go, we looked like we were out on our knees, really. We just had no energy left.
You were going to say some other part of the anatomy there, weren't you?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
I know you was. You did ever so well there, mate. You did really well. I think the Mings coming off really changed us, and the balance of the team went from there.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, I know, he's a bit Marmite, a bit with some of the fans, but he gives us so much because he's the organiser.
Do you know what I find with him? And you could argue that technically he's not as good as somebody like Pau Torres, even Konza, but he organises really well. I like the way he organises his defence. I really do.
Yeah, and I think that's the main thing about Tyrone's game. He is an organiser, he's a talker, he's a shouter. Pau Torres is great on the ball, but not as good a defender as Tyrone is.
Yeah.
And I think Ezra's sort of an in-between version of the two of them. Decent on the ball, good defender. So, I certainly think we'll miss him over the next, whatever it is, 2 or 3 weeks that he's out.
Yeah, exactly. Now, for all the listeners that will be listening to this show, all the three of us that do it, me, you and Chris normally, you might hear some flashing going on in the background. That is because we've done some promo pictures today of our brilliant sponsors and another company called Division Retro, who we'll talk a little bit more about in the programme. They've given us some tops that they wanted us to promote, and we've had some banners done by the excellent Bowden and Dolphin signs as well. But I'll come on to them in a minute because they were there last night for the Celtic game, but in a different capacity to what you were for me watching it as well. But we'll come on to that in a minute. Let's talk about last night's game, Celtic. What a game that was.
Yeah, to be honest, it surprised me a bit. I didn't think, sort of, especially after 5 minutes when we're 2-0 up, you think, what's this going to end up? Because they looked shot at 2-0 down. And then again, we get an injury. Matty Cash goes off injured. We reshuffle, and it just didn't seem to work. And all of a sudden, it's 2-2, and you think, what the hell's going on? And then it sort of rights itself at half-time because we come out and we control the second half more or less completely. And it probably could have been 6, 7 even, the chances we had. I mean, Ollie must have had 4 great chances. And fair play to Schmeichel, he made several unbelievable stops.
Yeah, and his back dive that he did yesterday.
Oh, it was hilarious.
It's just so funny looking at it.
It was a bit like a backward crab.
Try saying that after a few points. I bet you couldn't do that, could
probably
you?
not.
Exactly.
It didn't work for him, though.
No, it never. We spoke about this at the start of the campaign when we started doing these podcasts. I never, ever thought we'd finish top 8. And I would have been happy with 24th, given that we didn't know what we were going into. But when it went to 2-2 and we'd gone down to 13th in the league table, at that stage. I'm still thinking 13th is good. And I'd have bit your arm off for that at the start. But I'm so disappointed if we didn't make the top 8.
Yeah, I mean, I think because of the way we started the competition, obviously we had the 3 wins off the bat, didn't concede a goal, and you think this suits us. And then obviously we had the calamity at Bruges where Tyrone picked the ball up.
He did it on purpose because he knew.
Well, it actually works out perfect, doesn't it? Because as reading through things today, we'd have ended up with one stinker of a draw if we hadn't done that.
I mean, before we go any further, every game is hard.
Oh yeah, there's no easy games.
But I think we'd have been in with Real Madrid, Man City, all
Bayern
that part. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So Tyrone knew what he was doing. He was an organiser.
Obviously.
Just remember that he was an organiser. What was the atmosphere like last night?
The atmosphere was really good. I don't think it was as good as the Bayern game. I don't think it was quite as loud as the Bayern game, but obviously the Bayern game had a massive significance to it. From 82, and so. And
Gary Shaw had just passed away as well.
So it was the significance was a lot greater for the Bayern game, but the atmosphere was terrific. And the Celtic supporters tried to do their part.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. I mean, I only watched it on TV. I'm armchair these days, unless I get an invite from you. So yeah, basically, I'm armchair these days. It's good taking the piss out of him, Chris, face to face.
I didn't know he could say piss.
Can we let that one through? Yeah. Okay, then that's good. Right. So one major thing from last night, which I was very proud of. Teale, you've played the game at Villa Park. You've done all the, the top matches and all that kind of stuff. I have done my books and gone down Villa Park. But one thing I've never done, and you haven't done, is you've recorded a record that went out before the game against... Who was it against?
West Ham Cup game.
West Ham, the 150th, and then last night as well. So the Quad Rocks band, who are the official band of Aston Villa Football Club, been doing a lot in the fan zones over the last year or so. I am delighted personally and very proud of one such Jamie Bowden from Bowden and Dolphin Science, obviously our sponsors. It was him, your brother, and other members who make up the Quad Rocks band, and Villa got in touch with them and asked them to do their version of LA. So I'm delighted to say that in the studio today we have got Mr. Jamie Bowden, who's joined us. He's also give us the some great stuff in terms of the banners. And we're delighted that you're on board as one of our sponsors. And we will start saying signs at the end of Bowden and Dolphin. Signs. There you go. I've started to do it. So welcome to the studio, Jamie.
Thank you, Rob.
Come on. Give us the lowdown. How did you recording that song happen?
Well, we were asked, through playing in the fan zone, and we just sort of get a few of the chants and rock them up. And LA was... obviously the main one. Villa heard it and asked us to record it for the 150th anniversary the other week. So over Christmas, they booked a studio, paid for it. I mean, for us that was,
What studios was it?
It was in Castle Vale. I can't think of the name of it, but it was blooming unbelievable what this chap had done. He's turned what used to be his lawn into this recording studio.
From a lawn to a recording studio?
Honestly, it's just unreal what he's done. I wish I'd done my research so I could give you the name, but so for us, we turned up and it was a dream. We've never been to a recording studio, really, and they've got an engineer down from London, and he sorted all the little bits out for us, and we went through the track live, and then he stripped it down, and we all did our own individual bits. We had a fantastic day, and then they said, "We'll play it at the game, the 150th game."
But so did you know that were going to That's what you were recording it for.
They said they were going to do it for the 2 games, for the West Ham game and the Celtic game.
Oh, you never told me it was Celtic. You kept that one quiet.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how, whether it's going forward. It will be it will still be used. But last night was amazing. They played it at the start, and she did say result pending. They'll play it again, and as it all worked out, we didn't quite know, did we, whether we qualified or not?
That's right.
So they played a couple of songs, and when the news was official, they announced it and played it straight away. And of course, we were the 4 of us. Got to mention the lads: Stevie Wild, the sexy beast. Simon Hull, he's the chap that does all the organising and does all the talking, because I'm not very good at it. My brother Rich, and obviously me, and we were all there in the stands together. We just recorded everybody having a party to our song. It was just unbelievable.
That is fantastic.
It really was like a dream come true.
What's it like when you? I mean, obviously for you, Teale, you were there in your capacity as an ambassador.
I love the way he says that.
every week I go ambassador. What was it like when the song was played and great for Jamie and the lads that these are the guys that recorded it, but did it add to the how special it was for the West Ham game? And
I think so. I think it's a song that the fans like to sing anyway. They sung it quite a lot last night. It goes through stages, that song. So some games you'll get it'll spark up 3 or 4 or 5 times in a game. Sometimes you might hear it once. Sometimes you don't even hear it because it just doesn't kick off. I mean, there must be a group up there in the Holt that sort of set things going, and then they either grab onto it and everybody sings, or they just don't bother.
Do you know, all my years are going down. I'd love to be by the person that actually starts the song off that then 40-odd thousand, get onto. It must be absolutely fantastic. What was it like? I mean, you've been a Villa fan for over 50 years yourself, man and boy. What was it like to hear a song that you recorded being sung by 42,000 other fans?
Well,
can you describe that?
It's surreal, really. It's surreal. I mean, they took us down to the ground the day before the West Ham game just to let us listen to it on the PA, and so we were wandering around Villa Park listening to it. That was incredible. Then on the match day itself, we were allowed to. They let us on the pitch, so we were on the corner flag, and the one of the girls that set it up said, right, it's going to be on in a minute, and we were just waiting for the song to start, and that was great. But I didn't realise how good it was until people were sending videos afterwards, because it was part of like a 10-minute piece, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I sent it to you, so it was. We were like 3 minutes in the middle of this 10-minute piece, and there was like the montage from the actor, chap, what's his name? The famous fan.
Oh, I've played Argus Filch in the Harry Potter films. David Bradley.
That's it. Yeah,
David Bradley. Yeah.
So he did his bit, and then obviously then we came. So it was brilliant what they did, what Villa did for that. But last night surpassed it. It was just, because we'd got the win, and it is a party sort of song, isn't it? And everybody wanted to party. Our song came on, and it couldn't fail, could it? Really, everybody sang along.
Driving here to the studio tonight, there's myself and Shaun in the car, and we were talking about any trouble that happened at Villa Park yesterday. And I'll let Shaun take over this. He actually went past the fan zone whilst you guys were on, and he's watching all this trouble go on. And what song were they playing, Shaun?
I predict a riot.
Yes!
I was like, for real?
You couldn't time it, could you?
No, you couldn't have written it better.
Yeah, we were setting up, and I said, I can't believe they're playing this.
Oh, it's
we were setting
hilarious.
up on the stage.
Oh, my
I was
God.
actually stood out by the players' entrance, listening to it, thinking, that could go down well.
Oh, but I mean, what an honour for you, and really, really good. So proud of what you've done there, mate, with the band.
Yeah, we are.
Got any gigs coming up?
February is the next one. You're going to ask me where it is, aren't you, Rob?
No, but if everybody goes to the Facebook Quad Rocks band,
It's on there.
it'll be on there.
Yeah.
Really good, guys, and I know you're very valued down Villa Park. I'd like to say the same about Shaun, but hey, right, somebody that we haven't said hello to in the studio so far. He's the one that puts all this together. He said a few words, but Christopher Brown, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
Of course you are, top of the league still.
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
If you don't win that third division, there's something seriously wrong there.
Actually, at one stage last night during the Villa game, I thought, oh, we're going to be the only club that brings any silverware back again. But there you go.
If anybody's got a studio out there that we can start using, that'd be great. It did make me laugh. We've both had the Battles of Britain this week. Us against Celtic in the Champions League, and you against Wrexham in the third division.
Exactly, yeah.
Anything you want to say about that?
No. Good game.
And what's going on with this stadium then? What's the latest with it? I've heard that the owner's going to go out and do some kind of speech at some place in London. What's the latest on
I
that?
don't really know much about it, to be honest. I know he's going down to London, isn't he? But I've got a feeling it might get sidestepped now with this Man United sort of. They're doing something, aren't they, as well now?
Well, he's dared to call it the Wembley of the Midlands, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Your guy.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, it will be, yeah, if it goes.
But I think what Chris is alluding to is the fact that the government want United's new ground built. United, they reckon two billion to build it
Yeah.
from start to finish, but the government are going to pay for all the regeneration around it. So the club pay for the ground.
Wow.
So
Taxpayers' money, yeah.
so where's all the other money going to come from?
Yeah.
For everything else, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess you'd go down the private equity route.
Yeah.
I would have thought that would have happened. Right, we've got a few things that we need to speak about. We've obviously done the Celtic game. It's great to hear Jamie speak about the Quad Rocks band there. Let's just talk about some things in football in general. And I'll kick it off with how the Villa have been doing post our Champions League games, right? Where it's been noted that in the first 7 games, I think we've won 1. Of those. So why is that? Why is the come down? I don't know if that's the right word to use on this. Why are we not playing so well after a Champions League game? And it begs the question for me, right? And I'm going to ask you this, Teale, because you're the one who played the game, right? Do players play the occasion, or do they play the game? Has that got some bearing? You know, you're still doing 90 minutes of football regardless, right?
Yeah.
You're still doing that. Whether you're playing in the Premier League, whatever league, why is it that we've dropped a little bit? Could it be that it's after the Lord's Mayor show, or, as I've said there, can players play the occasion?
I think the answer to that is basically depending who you've played. So you look at the Bayern game and you think, we put an awful lot into that night to win the game 1. Then we don't have such a great result 4 days, 3 days. Is it just the fact that it was Bayern and we put so much effort in, or was it, like you say, playing the occasion because it was the rerun of the 82 thing? Did that affect? But that really shouldn't affect players. That really shouldn't affect their ability to perform.
Have you ever noted it during your career? You know, you can talk from your non-league days all the way through to the Prem.
Well, we beat United at Wembley in '94 and played Everton 3 days later at Villa Park, and it was the worst 0-0 you've ever seen in your life.
It wasn't a good one.
It was awful, and we just couldn't get going. And I think sometimes, you know, a lot's said about players get paid so much, you know, for what they do, but physically, it's exhausting. training every day, playing, training every day, playing. And the general public, I don't think, realise how draining it is. When I played, I used to say to people, "Oh, that's not a real job, is it?" And I'd say to them, my answer would be, "Well, I'll tell you what, I'll come and sit in your office on my backside for a morning. You go and train, and then let me know how you feel." And it was, "Oh, no, you're all right. I couldn't do that." Well, exactly. So you can't knock players if they're jaded. I mean, West Ham at the weekend was a perfect scenario of how tired we looked for the last 20 minutes. We actually looked out on our feet completely. We had nothing left, and to hang on for a draw was a miracle in the end. But then you've got to pick yourself up again, because you've got this huge game against Celtic that you have to win to get in the top 8. So, where do you pick yourself up from? It's your own individual self looking at your performances and looking after your body as best you can. That's the only way I can think it. And then obviously you've got the motivation from behind you, Unai Emery, Monchi, whoever's in that dressing room, the fitness coaches, blah blah blah. So they've got their part to do, but as an individual, you've got to maximise your own talents, which means looking after your body perfectly week in, week out. And with so many games, it's so difficult. I mean, we've had 7 games this month.
Yeah.
Is it 7 this month? Yeah, 7 this month. We've got 5 next month, and then we get into March, and at the moment we've only got 2, which has now obviously changed because there's a home and away Champions League leg. So now we're into 4 minimum, and then if we beat Tottenham in the FA Cup, that's probably going to make it that one 5 as well. So you're playing 5 games every month minimum. So it's bound to take its wear and tear. And I suppose the argument at the end of the day will be the squad's not big enough. The squad's not big enough to cover the incidents we've got. I mean, we've got injuries as well, which is certainly not helping. I mean, Onana out, Barkley out. Then obviously Carless has gone. It looks like John Duran's gone today. Matty Cash got injured again last night.
Yeah.
We're not the biggest squad in the world at the best of times. So if you lose 5, that's a massive hole. Tyrone's out again. So, the big players that we're bound to miss.
Yeah, I have to say, I thought Bogard played really well when he came in. No nonsense stuff.
Yeah.
But I guess the point of what I was trying to say earlier was, I know what type of person you are, right, as a human being. You're very laid back, right? Nothing much phases you.
No.
Apart from when you let, what was his name? Liverpool player, Ronnie Rosenthal, when he let him stick him. He did that one.
Did he score?
No, he never scored.
No, well, there you go. That's the end of that one.
That's cut me, Chris, he's cut me down there. Have you noticed? Right, so have you ever come across players, and this could be from your Southport days, your Weymouth, you're playing in Scotland, Hong Kong, whatever. Did you ever played with players that the occasion did get to them, as opposed to playing the game, playing that 90 minutes in front of them?
Yeah, certainly. Funny enough, Tommy Johnson was at the game, was working last night at the game, and my endearing memory of Tommy was his first game against Wimbledon when we beat them 7 and he got an hat-trick. He threw up in the middle of the pitch.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
nerves,
did.
just nerves.
Nerves.
Complete nerves. And I played with the lad at Tranmere, Kenny Hines, would regularly do it before a game.
Wow.
Just couldn't.
You see, you don't think of players like Kenny Irons that you think of them as
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
But not saying he isn't, but
But the problem was, in the dressing room, you would never have known he was going to be like that. When he gets out in front of a crowd, the nerves hit, and his only way of dealing with it is to throw up.
Wow.
And he's okay after that, yeah?
Yeah, it's fine after that. Yeah. Just throw up in the middle of the pitch so someone can slide in it.
Fantastic.
That's why I never used to run forward, you see.
Just say you never used to run, and then I'll understand it. Sideways or backwards. Right.
It's overrated running.
Right, so let's talk about you've mentioned him there, John Duran. Right, this guy should be playing against the best in the world in the best leagues. I get the money. I get he's going from 50,000 to 500,000, which is absolutely ridiculous when you think about it. Right, he's setting himself up. But if he'd have been 31, I could have understood it. But as a 21-year-old, I really don't have any respect for him wanting to have this move from a football point of view.
Yeah, I mean,
Your view?
from a footballing point of view, there isn't really a point of view, is there? You know, he's swapping the Premier League for what did someone call it? The Sand League today.
Yeah, I heard that.
You know,
I heard that myself.
You know, if you're Ronaldo, fine, go out there. What was he? 38 when he went, 39 when he went out there, earning massive money. Why not?
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, it's your last swan song. It's like those that go to the MLS and play.
Yeah, exactly.
It used to be China, didn't it? But so now it's Saudi, and yet, you know, 21. I mean, there was a bit of a hoo-ha when the lad from Nevers went from Wolves, and he was, 25, 26.
You're right.
And people were saying, why has he done that? It's way too early. You know, he's such a good player, and he's throwing his career down the drain. Well, I'm not saying John Duran is, because John Duran could do 3-4 years out there, earn an absolute fortune, and maybe come back to the Premier League. Who knows? But is the level he's going to be playing at for them 4 years going to keep him in that
Correct
scenario where he can come back in? Probably not. So another thing I read today is he'll probably end up in Spain. So he'll do Saudi and end up in Spain.
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, once you leave the Premier League, it's...
I mean, the guy's from
difficult to get back.
Colombia. He's been with us for, 18 months. I can understand not having the proper affiliation to Villa. You know, it's not like the Grealish situation.
No.
But like you, I'm just very disappointed that, you know, a player of his calibre, and he's still learning the game.
Yeah.
Still learning the game there.
Yeah.
It's disappointing. Jamie, what do you think of that?
Of John Duran?
Yeah.
I'm with you. I think it's a crying shame, really. I mean, he looks like a natural goal scorer, doesn't he? Where, you know, to me, Ollie's got all the attributes holding the ball up that he hasn't got, but John Duran seems to have that instinct, doesn't he, for just...
He can change the game, can't he? Just
Yeah,
a flash of brilliance off him.
And it's a real shame to lose a player like that, but I suppose if you've got all that money sitting on the bench, that when you need it on the pitch, don't you, really?
Exactly.
You've got to be looking at his advisors as well. You know, his agent,
I think
the
they
people
probably
advising him. They're probably thinking, well, we can get John out there for, what is it? It's about 77 million, is it, plus add-ons?
Yeah, something like that. It's great for us.
21-year-old. That's for unbelievable money. You know, and he's scored what? He's only scored 10 goals in his Premier League career, and he's off for that kind of money.
I agree. Chris, what's your view on it?
That's crazy money, isn't it?
Yeah, madness.
You know, it really is. But are we doing it for PSR reasons as well?
Well, no, because we've cleared PSL this year.
But are we, you know, trying to make sure that we don't get into that situation in the future?
It certainly will help, you know, and the fact that it's quite obvious that Unai wants to bring the two lads in from Chelsea. I think that's more or less.
Is that Joe Felix and Disasi or something like that? Yeah,
so, I mean, if you look as a centre half wise, we do need somebody.
We do.
Definitely, you know, Carless has gone fine. You know, Carless did okay for us. He had a mistake in him, but then a lot of defenders have mistakes in them.
Of course they do.
You know, so Disasi, is he a good fit for us? I don't know, because I've not watched him enough. The only thing I'll take from that is that Andy Townsend was on TalkSport yesterday, and Andy's comment was, "I can't for the life of me understand why you'd want Disasi at Villa. Never in my day would I have had him there," which. It's not really a glowing report, is it?
No, not really.
And
no.
the João Felix thing is a weird one, because it was happening 2 years ago, then it was happening last
Well, we all
summer.
thought last summer we were getting him.
You know, and he seems to... If he was that keen to play for Unai Emery, why didn't he come? Why did he disappear to Chelsea for, 45 million or something like that?
Is it the London thing? Is it, you know, these people...
It's all right being in London, but if you're not kicking the ball, it's pointless.
Yeah.
You know, and he's played 3 games.
Yeah. Yeah,
3 stars.
I see where you're coming from there.
You know, and then the question will be on all of Villa fans' lips is, can Unai Emery get a tune out of him?
Well, in Unai we trust. is what we all say. So let's hope that is the case. It's going to be interesting couple of days left. I think it's the 3rd of February.
Yes, it is.
The transfer window.
Yeah.
Is that still the same for the 3rd division clubs as well, Chris?
Yeah, sometimes
In the Jules Verne League, 20,000 leagues under the sea.
I think it's exactly the same. Just on last night, was there any trouble at all? Or not really.
There was some, but I don't think it was. I don't think it was what was predicted. I mean, they were talking about 10,000 plus travelling down.
Yeah.
And what was it, 3,500 in the ground? I think something like that.
Mm.
So the police shut off Whitton Lane at one point with the vans because there'd been a bit of hoo-ha there. And there was a few scuffles in the stands because of Celtic fans sitting in the middle of Villa fans. But you're always going to get... I don't really know how you stop that, if I'm honest. Tom, Dick and Harry, who are Villa supporters, might not be able to go to the game and go, oh, well, I'll sell them to me Scottish mates.
And it's all to do with your mindset. I've been with Villa in the 80s and 90s. I've been with Villa in the home end when I couldn't get a ticket for ours, and I've done it at St Andrews a few times. When Villa have played there. So I guess it's down to your mentality, isn't it? If you're going to start saying, jumping up and down,
you've got to keep your gob shut.
You have got to keep your gob shut.
I do it at Goodison every year. Because our postman's a season ticket holder at Everton, so I go with him. And I have to sit on my hands, literally.
Do you have to pay for your ticket?
Don't be silly.
Shock, horror, gasp, Chris. I can't believe that. Unbelievable.
I wonder if I'll get one next year, a new stadium. That'll be interesting.
That would be interesting. Something else that's caught my attention a little bit over the last couple of weeks, and I find it strange. I really like Ange Postecoglou. I said it right.
Well done.
Thank you. I said it right this week. I'm not sure about Ruben Amorim at Manchester United. That really does seem to be the poison chalice. But in recent weeks, both of them have come out with, I've only got one way of playing, and I'm going to stick to my one way of playing. Right? Surely that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Have you ever played?
Well, you look at Russell Martin at Southampton.
Yeah.
He said it all season, didn't he? This is the way we're going to play. We're going to stick to this. This is it. See ya. Out the door.
Absolutely.
Amorim, the rate it's going at the moment, could be the quickest manager to come in and go. Because he could be gone by the end of the season. The rate is going.
Yeah.
With a bit of luck, they'll get relegated as well, which will make it even more fun for everybody else.
Oh, just like 74, 75 again.
Ange Postecoglou, I don't know.
I like him. I like him as a person.
Oh dear.
I would not fight him.
I think he's really chippy. Really, he's gone really arrogant and chippy.
He's become very protective of himself in recent years.
He's Australian. I don't like him.
We love our Australian viewers, by the way, just before we go any further on that one. Did you ever play for managers that stuck to, one way of playing?
No, I think that's more of a modern day thing. They all have this, we'll play out from the back, we'll do this, we'll take gambles, i.e. Southampton, But as soon as it goes wrong and you get your backsides felt, surely you've got to have a rethink and think, well, that didn't work. It's like the whole Mickey van der Ven thing at Tottenham, and Romero, both out injured, and everybody's saying, well, it's Postecoglou's fault because he wants them to play a certain way. So they push right up to the halfway line, ball goes over the top, and they sprint back. They come back out, same thing, and all they're doing is sprints all game. Well, if you've got somebody like Mickey van der Ven with obviously got issues with hamstrings, then you can't play that way. It's either that or sell him to a club that sits deeper, and But you've got to weigh up what you've got players wise. You can't come into. I don't think you can come into a club and go, this is how we're going to play. If it doesn't suit you, tough. Which is what Amorim's done in a sense. He's come in and says, I'm playing 3-4-3. You fit into my system or don't play.
So, okay, so you've never had that, and
No.
in any of the managers that you've played under, which is great.
I probably have had an argument with him if I don't know.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
Right, if you had a manager that did do that, right, that said, right, you're playing this way, it's my way or the highway on that one, would you as players, you're on the pitch, you're really the ones that are managing that game, right? Would you as a player think, no, I'm not going to do that. I can see what's coming up here. I can see that, I'm right close to this defender or this midfielder. I've seen his weakness close up. I'm going to now, change it.
We used to do it quite regular. So we used to do it to Ron, because Ron would be shouting things from the touchline, blah, blah. He'd have told us all this information before the game. Then he'd be shouting all these orders. We're too deep, get up. Da, da, da. And Paul McGrath would look at me and I'd look at Paul, and Paul would go, we'll do it our own way. And we just... and then he'd say to me, when he shouts at you again, Teale, he said, just put your hand up. Just acknowledge that you've heard him, and then we'll just crack on our own way. And that's what we used to do. We used to go like that, and then we'd come in at half-time and Ron and go, you pair of effing this and effing that. I know what you're playing at. You're saying you're hearing me and you're not listening to me. Oh, sort of, yeah. Sorry, Gaffer.
Yeah, I can imagine you two doing that. Pair of naughty boys.
Yeah.
One manager that I'd like to speak about... so going 18 months ago on our book tour, myself and Shaun went down to Bournemouth.
We did.
We had a great time there, didn't we?
We did.
Apart
Apart
from the food, but we won't talk about that.
No.
In the executive boxes and all that, it was really, really, really nice with all the money people.
It was your fault we missed the steaks.
It was my fault.
Too
I don't know
busy
how.
talking.
Too busy talking, yeah. So the game that we went to was against Wolves last season.
Yeah.
Wolves won 2-1, but I'm going to say this is my Ange Postecoglou moment coming up. What's the name of the book? Say the book. Iriola.
Yeah.
Iriola. See,
Andoni Iriola.
Right, had just become their manager, if you remember.
He had, yes.
He'd been there for about 6 weeks. They'd gone through a terrible run, and there was talk of them getting rid of him.
Yeah.
You and I heard that firsthand at that time. They play Wolves. Wolves were nothing special, but 1-2-1. Right? Since then, that Bournemouth have changed, especially this season. They have beaten teams at a canter. They are playing great as a unit. I think they're playing 4-4-2. Bournemouth, I think it's 4-4-2.
I don't think... I'd be surprised if anybody plays 4-4-2 now. I think they play sort of a 4-4-1-1.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so Semenya plays slightly deeper than everybody else, doesn't he? But then again, Semenya comes... He turns up on the left, turns up on the right. He flits around and does his own thing for the best part. It's
absolutely wonderful to see a team like Bournemouth doing what they're doing. Newcastle had gone on a run of winning 9 games on the trot. Right? Yeah. Played Bournemouth. It's 3-1 to Bournemouth, I think, in the end. And it should have been
4-1, wasn't it?
Was it 4-1? Yeah. Okay. Then they play Nottingham Forest, that have been flying themselves and got themselves into a top 4 position. Win 5-0. Right?
Frightening.
Absolutely frightening. Can Bournemouth make the European competitions this season?
I'd like to say yes, with it being one of my former clubs, but it's like the Forest thing. Once the bubble bursts, and I think Forest bubble is starting to burst. They've now lost 2 on the bounce, haven't they? They've got a really difficult game this weekend again. So I just think maybe the bubble has burst a little bit. It's like everything else. It's like we always used to talk about players when I played about second season syndrome. So you play against them the first year, and you wouldn't really know an awful lot about them, and then you'd play them twice, obviously, in that season, and you'd know everything about them. So you knew, come the next season, you could stop them playing or stop them doing what they did really well. And I think the same will happen with Forest, and I think it's starting to happen now. They know that Forest like to get the ball forward really quick. Bournemouth are a bit different because Bournemouth play a lot. You know, they move the ball around an awful lot. And they're very solid. They don't give an awful lot away. The 2 centre-backs have been really, really good for them.
Yeah, exactly. Just before we do continue with this Bournemouth thing, I don't know if you can hear them in our ears, but Chris, if you can hear us, you seem to have left the studio. I can hear you talking, mumbling in the background. So if you can just cut it down a little bit. Please don't be in the Tyler.
Together.
We don't have the budget.
Together.
We don't have the budget that they do at Talk Sport. They can get Darren Bent and all that. I can only get Teale. Honestly, it's also good to see if you look at the top end of the Premier League at this moment. You got your Fulhams there.
Yeah.
You've got Bournemouth there. Brighton have done really well over the last 2 or 3 seasons as well. It's great to see, isn't it? Rather than that top 6 that we had previously, right?
It's a laugh at that.
It's very, very off-putting. Very, very off-putting. And I don't think Chris realises that that's it. Okay, guys, just to let you know, this, like I said to you, we don't have the budget of Talk Sport on this one. Chris has gone out of the room and kept his microphone on. So we've been talking.
We've been having a good laugh at your conversation.
Your conversations.
The smaller clubs that are really doing well in the Premier League, i.e., your Fulhams, your Bournemouths, Brentford aren't doing bad.
The Brentford, I mean, what a manager they've got there. That is the difference between him and a Russell Martin, in my opinion. That they come up. Thomas Frank brings them up after having had Dino there for a bit. Yeah. Right, they're not winning games. They beat Arsenal first game of the season.
That's right.
Right, they're getting pummeled. But he's changed that team now and realised that you can't go on the front foot.
That's right.
Against the Premier League giants, and that's been the problem that Russell Martin's had, isn't it?
Yeah, Russell didn't want to change. He wanted to stick to his guns, and this is what we're going to do. And and that's the fear for like say for Ange and for Amara. If they don't change, then they could be gone before they've got the feet under the
absolutely.
table. Really.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Ruben Amorim, from what I could tell, was basically advertising his name during the summer, wasn't he? Was it Sporting Lisbon he came from?
Yes,
it was Sporting Lisbon, wasn't it?
But he decided it wasn't the right time to take the job, wasn't it? And then obviously they kept Ten Hag there, and he'd have been better taking the job right at the start.
Absolutely.
Having a full pre-season with these players, getting in who he needed to get in. Because the thing is, he's not signed anybody.
No.
He's stuck with what he's got because, I think PSR for United is quite close, so I don't think there's a lot they can do at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. Right, I can't believe that we've been talking for about an hour or so. Chris, it's gone really quick. The most exciting part was when you went outside and spoke to our Jamie. I don't know what was going on there, but I heard a toilet flush at one stage. We were talking and we were going... I've just been ad-libbing the words "where are they" to right. So we got 2 Jamies in the studio tonight. Obviously, we've got the brilliant Jamie Bowden.
Can't forget that surname.
I can't forget that surname as I'm going out with your cousin. Absolutely, Claire's cousin. Very proud of you last night when we were watching the TV with your aunt and Claire yesterday. You. Very proud of that. It's great that you're our sponsors, Bowden and Dolphin Signs. There you go. All right. And obviously Luke Roper, fantastic. We've had some shirts sent down to us, which were same size, aren't they? Mine and yours.
Yeah, mine's extra.
Did you notice Brian started laughing there before anybody else?
Mine's extra large. Yours is a potato sack.
Mine came from Millets and Go Outdoors. Do you know what, Brownie? I could see him in my eye there. Brownie was laughing before I even finished that. He knew what was going down.
Is it a 2-man tent or a 3-man tent?
There's a few homeless people looking at that.
They've moved in.
Oh, I love working with these two. Now, if anybody's from Talk Sport and wants to brum me different to Gabby on there, I'll come and listen. Honestly, a big thank you to obviously Bowden and Dolphin Signs and Luke 77 for their continued support and sponsorship. The work that you're doing for us is fantastic, so we really appreciate it, and just be proud of the Quad Rocks band as well. But we've also got another Jamie in the studio with us, and this is Jamie Cooper. Jamie is a photographer who runs a company called JMC Photography.
That's correct. Yeah.
He doesn't want to come on to the and speak on these, but absolutely superb. Jamie did the book cover for the Shaun Teale book that myself and Shaun did when we went to Chasetown a couple of years ago now, when we did that one. And Jamie's very kindly come to the studio, and we've had some banners put up, which you'll see on all our social media soon. So yeah, if you're looking for any kind of photography, JMC Photography, if you go onto Facebook and put in Jamie Cooper, you'll see him. He's always got his top off because he's always in the gym. He's always in the gym, and I've got to say he's got a good little ripped body on him there. That's what I wanted.
You know more than I know.
And now I think, to be honest with you, Chris knows more than anybody else.
Listen, to be fair, if we rip your body, we don't know what will come out of it.
Rob, you'd have to have an operation to do that.
Yeah, so I'm going to thank the sponsors and JMC. I'm definitely not going to thank our producer this week. I'll tell you what, you two have done really well there. You haven't urine extracted from me all night. So the last time we did this, it was all night. It was all night.
To be fair, it carries on WhatsApp after. He gets slaughtered on WhatsApp.
Absolutely.
Caned.
But you know what? I wouldn't change a thing. Chris, what's going on with the Blues in the next couple of weeks before we meet up again? Who are you playing?
They put me on the spot, haven't you?
Well, we know it's not Liverpool, Manchester United and Newcastle, everybody that we play.
It's Newcastle soon.
Oh, it is Newcastle soon. Actually, there's a question there, right? We're live against Spurs, right? I think I'm right, but they're classing the Birmingham Newcastle game as streaming. Right, that's the word that they've used there, streaming. Does that mean that it's not going to be on BBC One, but on the red button? Honestly, I've really noticed they've used the word streaming.
Are you sure it didn't say Blues will be screaming?
That's it. Whilst we're taking the mick out of Brownie, taking the mick out of me.
I can take it.
Yeah, it's streaming. Maybe, but it's just that word. I'm thinking, well, that don't sound right. Streaming sounds like you press the red button. But I've got to be honest with you, that is one of the games of the round. Yeah. The top of the third against the top 6 of the Premier League.
We've nothing to lose.
Absolutely nothing to lose. Score prediction for it, come on. Actually, when is the game?
Well, we play. Don't we play Tottenham on the?
Who we got on
9th.
Saturday? We got Wolves on Saturday. This will go out after the Wolves game, guys.
Wolves away Saturday.
Wolves away Saturday, and then is the week after the first week in Feb? Is that the FA Cup?
No, we've got Brentford away first.
Oh.
Brentford away first, and then we've got 3 home games on the bounce. Which one of those is the Tottenham game?
Right. Okay. I'd say it's like mid-February.
Ipswich, Chelsea.
So we've got Rotherham on Saturday, and just bring you down a bit.
We're going back to Tealey's non-league days here, aren't we?
8th of February is the Blues versus Newcastle.
8th of Feb.
Yeah.
Okay.
We play the 9th.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Be interesting to see about the streaming there. So we've also bought Chris a little present as he works the magic for us. Yeah. Now we've bought him a Talk Sport football trivia game. See, now he won't use Google so much when we're asking him questions.
He's got to learn to read first.
See, boy, Brownie's getting it. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm taking the biscuits back.
Right, FA Cup predictions then, right? So we've both got good games coming up. So we'll ask our sponsor first. Beautiful banners that he's done for us. And his family. Right, Jamie, Villa versus Spurs. What's your prediction?
2-0 Villa.
2-0 Villa? Okay then.
Confidence.
Okay, Teale?
3-1.
To Villa.
Yeah. We always give a goal away, so.
Mr. Cooper, who's busy there with his camera, with his flashing.
3-2 Villa.
Villa 3-2 Villa. Okay. Interesting.
Go on, Rob.
I think it'd be 2-1 to Villa. I do think we'll win.
He was dying to do that.
So you two, I bet you two been WhatsApp. What can we do to him? What can we do to him this week?
I'm innocent. It's nothing to do with me.
Well, once again, thank you to Jamie from Bowden and Dolphin Signs, and to our other sponsor, Luke 77. Thanks very much for all your work, guys. And of course, to JMC Photography, Jamie, who's been brilliant in the studio with us tonight. Look forward to seeing those pictures that you've got, mate. Really look forward. Yeah, see if you can keep your top on the next time you go onto social media. Honestly.
To be fair, Rob says he's going to take his off. That could be the end of social media.
A lot of people listening now be looking
Look up at his photography site.
I'll tell you what Chris is doing. He's doing all the wah, wah, wah stuff and the laughter, the canned laughter. Honestly. Well, listen, guys, it's been a great show for us again. We're back in 2 weeks with some great other football stories that no doubt will come up in that time. You'll be back in your at home.
Well, the draw.
Try not to fight with the dog this time.
Draw for Champions League. The next stage is Friday.
Oh, this Friday,
11 a.m. Friday.
Okay.
So that'll make things a bit clearer.
When this podcast goes out, it'll be obviously everybody will know what's going on there. Yeah. Right, guys, have a great couple of weeks. A beautiful show again tonight. I thank you all. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.